I was talking about you
All right,
sailing.
yeah.
I got
I have
that
the
mixed
trucks.
up. Yeah. So if you are a sailing person, you fit in right away. I mean, it's like, okay, get to work. We can. There's the people. There's always work to be done in shipyards. There's always work to be done with examining the associated shoreline equipment and things like that. The way you fit in this culture, get to work, and that will be happening. It's more than just a little town like in the picture. These are actually scattered along the shore, so you may not be exactly in the same spots. Your situation will definitely be overlooking the place that's pictured, because that's sort of the military vantage point as far as the shore is concerned.
There was a fort, right?
That's to the north.
Okay, so it's
Right.
not around just
No,
here.
no. In fact, here, from your eyes, you take a look and say, "Wow, these people are screwed without support."
Yeah.
This is the
Not gonna end
yeah
well.
this is not gonna this is welcome mat to the Raiders. And there are a few things that you should know upon arrival. One of them is that this is so evident to the two of you. There have been raids. The Raiders' bodies are spiked and set along the tide zone. So the poles are washed, and at the deep tide, the bodies are partly submerged and then pulled out. And so the bodies are, in terrible shape. But that means they wouldn't last long. So that means the fact that they are there means,
Recently.
yeah, this is practice here. They make a point. They make a point actually of capturing, if there is a conflict on the seas or on the islands, they will take prisoners and they will spike them here. One other thing that you will notice, particularly because you are a priest, they have not broken the joints of the bodies. It is absolutely the case throughout this entire culture in all the regions that a body must be broken at the joints and the neck. It is considered a reasonable task. It is not, you don't have to be of a special social caste to do it. It's often like the head of the family or a priest, if they're there, who does it for a body. Not to do it is desecration. So those of us who look at anthropological aspects of religion will recognize this keeps them from rising as undead. But to the people, this is just the right thing to do with the body. Whatever else you do with it, burial or whatever, but that's how you prepare it. They didn't. So that's like, you do what? Ew.
Do they want zombies?
What's that?
Do they want
well,
zombies?
that's the question. It's like,
But it's like if a zombie is spiked, then it still is a very
yeah,
terrific zombie.
exactly. So that's one thing that it is of no. That's.
I would also
It's more cultural than magic. It's like, you guys do what? Right? Sorry.
would I also see that they have not broken?
No, because for you are not looking with the priest's eyes. And also you are not looking at it up close like a sailing person is looking at it. So you just know that they're doing it. Maybe from your point of view, it's like, that sends the lesson. Yeah. You guys are badasses,
Yeah.
So.
Still screwed, but
Yeah.
we have something to work with.
Exactly. Yeah. So does this kind of give you guys, think of yourselves as kind of moving in, and when in this kind of technological culture, when you go somewhere, you're going to live there. Everybody knows it. Nobody just visits for a weekend. You're going to stay for a season. That's considered a short visit. So people living there for a few years would not be considered strange. So that's why I'm emphasizing the kind of normal aspect of arriving. You are not like the party arriving at a village. You are moving into this community. You can't function otherwise. They would kill you. So, okay. Does that give us some room to?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I should tell you my key event because you should know that. So I killed my kin. I slaughtered everyone.
Which is summary execution in this culture if you do it, right? That's like
Siblings, children, everyone.
Not just the men, but the women and the children.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I haven't talked about it very much, but I have said enough that you would know this, and also I would have just said there was a guide I had. I did what I had to do.
And you're talking to the few people who say, oh.
Exactly,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was outlawed, and that's how I came to Rome.
Yeah, so you may or may not have fought directly in the magical conflict here, maybe some, but you came into it later. Whereas I think certainly your character, Eva, would have been in on this from the beginning. So, so cool. So let's start with you, Tobias, and with what do you think that Kuneberg would be up to and living in and doing? We could even go to a situation where there is a boat that has been a ship, actually a small ship. They're of a particular sort. It's a less dramatic version of the Drakar, the Kron. It's not. You would look at it and say, oh, that looks like a dragon ship from the Vikings, but think of it as ordinary ship rather than all done up for, Hollywood Vikings.
Yeah.
And so it could be used for a raiding party to do something, but it could just as easily be used for transporting a bunch of grain, and probably has been used for both. So it's been pulled up into the kind of shipyardy area there. It's been inverted on a rack, and guys have stripped down to the basics to, scrub at it and try to find rotten spots that need to be rebuilt and stuff like that. So I would say you were in that situation most of the time. And after this, I'm going to ask you where you go and what you want to do.
Yeah.
But we might as well come up on a cultural moment of something you would be doing.
So you mean like examining the ship because I know about sailing, or?
They put you're working. This is what you do here now.
Yeah.
You joined our community, and this is what guys like you do.
Yeah, or like you said, fixing the ship, clearing up the barnacles, sewing holes in the sail.
Yeah.
What else do you do with that?
I think that's all the things you do. They've obviously got tar boiling, in a pot somewhere, and I don't know anything else, something like that. My question is, how now are you going to? They know you're a priest. You came in with your emblem. They know you're a member of the circle. But the first question was, kill him or don't. Oh, he's working. Cool. Join us for dinner.
Yeah.
So that's your situation. It has now been a few days, a week or two. The people are starting to open up to you a little bit. And for a while, you're getting kind of that Baltic Nordic grunt. After a few days, you're starting to get people looking at you more like they would be interested in what you might say.
Yeah. Do I start preaching by
your-
lighting the pipe?
It's if you want to, yeah.
I guess it's time to if there's an evening suitable moment.
Sure, yeah. I think that makes perfectly good sense. So after the day's work, right, a splash in the fresh water comes into this zone, naturally through creeks and things, and so water has been collected and put over low charcoal fires, and the people who have been working on the boats, scrub off a little bit before night falls, and so you're clean, and the catch of the day, which was gutted just down there as you were working, is now people are eating the fish. So, yeah, about this time, the social connection is fairly strong, and you get the idea that maybe if you started talking, people might be listening.
So, what do I preach? Well, what is your view on magic?
Actually, they have a really anti-magic. They will show you. There is a display that's not right here in the middle of town or the middle of the community because it's disgusting. But they have a recent captive. They have actually crucified him. Crucifixion kills through suffocation. This is real historical crucifixion, not some sort of God story in a church. And so you are tied and you will suffocate for days. And it's not an uncommon form of civic execution in the Crescent Line, but it's reserved for pretty bad things. And you can see that the body has been mutilated, and the blood has been used. They point. There are symbols, carved into posts or into the sides of buildings and things, and they say that is what we say against magic. It broke this land, and we are not doing it here.
I bring the conversation up again after a few puffs.
Yeah, good idea. Exactly. Everyone, there are rules for this. The first consideration is what we are going to call something very important. It is a charm roll. So you're going to grab those a black die and a white die, and you are going to roll, and you're going to add your charm to the total. And seeing how this is, let's see, you are dealing with the person you're talking to. I will ascend them. They're named Uet or Uvet. Not quite too sure with a double V. When we were talking about a cross between Nordic and Germanic, that's an orphan letter, what is that? But anyway, he has one, Uvet. And so the person you are talking to, is clearly, a fairly substantial member of, he's older than you, a substantial member of this working group, I would say, that you are with. So, okay, so go ahead and roll and add your charm. You want a 12 or higher?
14.
Okay, so very nice. What you have done, by the way, if you had not set this up socially beforehand, then that would be a single die you rolled. So the point is that yes, you're trustworthy. You have that viewpoint, and we know that this is a thing in Roll to Now. We don't like it, but you don't suck.
Good.
Yeah. So and if you had failed, then smoking the hashish actually permits a reroll on charms. So that's the if you fuck up a charm thing, if you can get together and smoke out, there's a chance to mend the fences. So,
what were we talking about?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
yeah, I see, man. I see. That's a cool viewpoint. Yeah. So anyway, the point here is that you've done a nice job of settling in and of starting to get people to mellow out about this, at least being able to listen to your point of view. If you start talking, for example, about your past or anything like that, they're going to start thinking about it as a lesson, as an actual religious lesson. So that's a nice start.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also has consequences. They are saying that they are so furious now because you're warned, just don't go out to the island. We have problems, we're fixing them. Arnold's taking care of it. We don't need the circle coming in and starting the war again. You get that from Lua very straightforwardly. They fear the circle because they think of you as the war. They don't want that back. It says, stick around with us. Talk like that, with other people, and none of us are around. It might not go so well for you or your friends. Anyone else? Let's see where we are at with these. The people there are quite interested in your axe.
Oh. The great axe.
The great axe, which is actually lighter than a woodsman's axe. So it's not this massive thing with double heads or anything like that. It actually looks like a woodsman's axe, but it's somewhat lighter. The head is thinner and has a long lower blade. And it is used with very fast strikes and almost like a whip. Yeah, exactly. With a lot of footwork. That's how the great axe is used. And yours is made of carburized steel. There are no steel weapons in this village, in this region. So they're kind of like, ooh, wow. So it's a notable thing.
Yeah.
It's a sign of a dedicated killer is to have something like this. So yeah, that's just letting you know, some of the details of people speaking with you and what's happening.
I think that for a few days, I want to just have walked around and taken their defenses, like taken everything in what they have, how their manpower is, what they do, and asking questions. How often are the raids? And just
right. It's actually until recently they are saying that until recently they were doing quite well. That the raids had dropped because of the better support, and that they taught a couple of sharp lessons to a couple of the exceptions, but that. Oh, okay. Who are you talking to? These are some people who actually ride horses up and down the cliffs, the cliff line, and then actually do kind of a messenger or courier interaction among the different villages and things, and people who keep an eye out on the ocean will talk to them. So you have a bit of an organized shoreline defense group. They are not, and you're thinking, well, how come they don't have some gentry person, who really knows how to kick ass, in charge of this? They don't. The community has not really been. A good way to look at it is that in another generation, somebody will be respected enough that they don't have to work because they do that. That would become somebody in that category. So the first thing to recognize, though, is that they are not that concerned about the raids. They are actually now, maybe without ever really talking about it, they seem to be concentrating on what might be coming from that island. Which that island seems to have been you would have picked this up. They do a lot of their fishing consolidation there. Like the fishermen will drop off their stuff there. It's a working place. This is a place where a lot of the heavier labor might be done out there. That seems like somewhere the community would use as a major look at its position. It is a major asset. They're treating that like it's the enemy. They're keeping an eye on that. They are setting up defenses, a readiness for action that you are not. It's not really clear why that would be. They would never tolerate, or they would instantly eradicate the actual people from elsewhere who set up on there. So militant's viewpoint is immediately spotting that thing is not, this is not normal.